I found a $340,000 mistake hidden inside a pay stub from 6 years ago. And the worst part is, I didn't lose this money in a market crash, I didn't get scammed, I didn't make a single bad investment decision. I just spent it, happily, every single month without once feeling like I was making a mistake. That is what makes this so hard to see. It never feels like a mistake when it is happening. It feels like the life you worked for. And by the time the math shows you what it actually cost, the money is already gone. I want to tell you about Marcus. At 26, Marcus did something most people never do. He sat down, opened a Fidelity account, set up a 401k contribution, and automated it. $400 a month into a target date index fund. He closed the app and went back to his life. And for a while, that was enough. That was genuinely enough. Then he got his first real promotion. Salary jumped from $52,000 to $64,000 a year, $12,000 more every year landing in his account. And Marcus didn't go out and buy a Ferrari, he wasn't reckless. He just upgraded his apartment. An extra $300 a month for a place with actual light in a neighborhood he'd always wanted to live in. He was 30 years old, he'd worked hard, and he wanted a home he was proud to come back to. He also leased a slightly better car, $280 a month. Nothing flashy, just something he didn't feel embarrassed parking at client meetings. Neither of those decisions felt like a retirement mistake. Both of them felt like the exact life he had earned. And while his life upgraded, his 401k contributions stayed frozen, $400 a month, the same number a broke 26-year-old had typed into a form on a Tuesday morning 4 years earlier. He just never went back and changed it. Not because he forgot, not because he was careless, because the raise arrived and the expenses filled in around it naturally, the way water finds the shape of whatever container you put it in. And the retirement portal never complained. The balance kept going up. Everything looked fine. Until it didn't. Here is what the financial industry never tells you after you start. Every beginner investing video, every Roth IRA explainer, every index fund guide, every here's what I would do with my first dollar breakdown, they all stop at the same moment. The moment you press the first automated transfer. That is where the content ends. That is where the advice ends. That is where the industry essentially considers its job done. And the reason is not complicated. There's no product attached to what comes next. Your brokerage makes the same fee whether you contribute $400 a month or $1,400. Your fund company doesn't care. The index doesn't care. Nobody in the system gets paid to tell you to go back into the portal and raise the number. So nobody does. And while nobody is saying anything, the raises arrive, the lifestyle expands, the contribution sits frozen, and the gap between what you have and what you were supposed to have quietly grows for a decade before anyone notices. This is not a starting problem. It is a scaling problem. And scaling problems are invisible right up until the moment you run the retirement math. Okay, here's where I need you to stay with me, because I'm going to show you the exact size of this gap for Marcus, and I want you to feel it, not just hear it. Marcus, at 26, $400 a month into his retirement account, 9% of his income. A genuinely solid start. Marcus at 44, $400 a month. Still, into an account that has been sitting at that same transfer amount for 18 years, while his salary went from $52,000 to $94,000. He is now contributing 5% of his income to retirement. The percentage dropped every single time he got a raise, silently, without a single notification. Now, here is the math. The path Marcus actually took, $400 a month, never scaled, 39 years, 7% average return, around $610,000. Now, what if Marcus had taken just 40% of every raise, just 40, and added it to his automated transfer? Not the whole raise, not even half, just 40%. The other 60 still went to the apartment, the car, the life he earned. Hold up a phone. Type this number in. Show it to the camera. $950,000. That is the gap. $340,000. Not from a crash, not from fees, not from a single bad decision, from a number nobody told him to update. And here's the part that should genuinely bother you. Marcus still got to spend 60% of every raise. He still upgraded. He still lived well. He still had the apartment and the car and the neighborhood. He just redirected 40 cents of every new dollar before the lifestyle had a chance to absorb it. That 40 cents, compounded over time, became $340,000. The 60 cents became a nicer apartment he doesn't live in anymore. Let me be honest about something. Lifestyle creep does not feel like a financial decision. That is the entire reason it works. It feels like reward. It feels like progress. It feels like the natural shape of a life that is improving. Nobody sits down and thinks, I am going to let my retirement gap grow today. They think, I worked hard, I got the raise, I deserve a better commute, a nicer kitchen, a restaurant that isn't just for birthdays. And all of that is true. You do deserve those things. The problem is not the spending. The problem is the sequence. Lifestyle expanding before the retirement contribution scales means the raise gets a head start in the wrong direction. The expenses lock in, the fixed costs rise, and by the time the dust settles, there is nothing left to redirect. 40% before the new expense exists is effortless. 40% after the apartment lease is signed and the car payment is set up is nearly impossible. The sequence is everything. So here's what you do. Right now, today, I call it the Raise Redirect Audit. It takes 4 minutes. Pull up your current pay stub. Find your gross monthly income. Log into your 401k portal. Find your current contribution, the actual dollar amount. Divide the contribution by your monthly income. That's your real contribution percentage. Now, think back. What was your income 3 years ago? Did that percentage go up with your raises, or did it quietly shrink every time your salary grew? If it shrank, and for most people who started young and got raises, it did, here's the fix. Find the gap between what you earn now and what you earned when you set that contribution. Take 40% of that difference and add it to your monthly contribution in the portal. That's it. One number, one change, takes 90 seconds once you're logged in. And going forward, every raise that comes in, every bonus, every income bump, 40% goes to the transfer before a single new expense is built around it. Not because you have to live small, because you get to spend 60% on whatever you want guilt-free, knowing the other 40 is already working. The apartment, the car, the restaurant, those are fine. Those are earned. The sequence just has to change. Here's your one thing after this video. Log into your 401k, find your current contribution, calculate the real percentage of your current income. Drop that number in the comments. Just the percentage, nothing else. Because I want you to actually look at it, not guess. Look. And I want you to see how many people in the comments started at 9 or 10% and are quietly sitting at 5. Marcus ran this number at 44. He wishes someone had asked him to run it at 31. The market is going to compound whatever you give it. The only question is whether that number grows with you or whether it sits frozen at whatever a younger, broker version of you decided on a Tuesday morning. Go check the number.